Go get some back. Which one? Let's get
No,
one.
she's showing up.
V Charmaine Roll, we are live. We are waiting for a few more persons to come in. We are all the way in the back, Glaston Road. SandDollar and Golden Fire Shack. Tonight belongs to SandDollar Company Limited. We have those persons here. We're going to go in depth on a lot of things, Junkanoo. If you're just joining the video, go ahead and share it. We got some exciting news that's going to be happening in a few minutes. Go ahead and share the video. The Charmaine Roll here live. Glaston Road. Golden. Yes, we are live. Glaston Road. Golden Fire Shack. If you are just joining us, this is FIE's Junkanoo Rush. Go ahead and share the video. We're going to have a conversation tonight about all things Junkanoo, the direction in which it is going. Good evening, folks. V Charmaine Roll here, FIE's Junkanoo Rush. We are live in Glaston Road at the Golden Fire Shack. And, you know, we're going to allow these gentlemen in a few minutes to give you some information about them. If you're watching, go ahead and share the video. FIE's Junkanoo Rush. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and join our pages. Now, people like to say, you know, I like to share information. You know, we would like a lot more persons to join the Junkanoo Rush page. So when we go live and do interviews like this, you would be some of the first persons to experience it and to know what is going on. We are off our sabbatical. In another week or so, we're going to start our Unsung series and try to catch up with a lot of persons that we didn't get last year. So we are all the way in the back of Drafty Glaston Road. Fellas, how y'all make it in the back here, man?
Awesome. Awesome.
It's a lot of draft.
Central L.
It's a lot of draft.
Peace and quiet. God's good breeze. Yeah. Peace and quiet.
Okay, so right now, folks, I'm sharing the video to a few pages. If you're just joining us, go ahead and share the video. We're going to bring the gentlemen on in just a minute. Okay, folks, we are live here in Glaston Road. These two gentlemen you see sitting here, you know, we know each other almost all our life, eh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Gents, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jason Menace. Most people know me in the Junkanoo world as Bats, or most people don't know me. And, most people don't know me, but this is
No,
the,
most people know the alias Bots. Everybody know that name.
yeah, but most people don't know me. So,
They
here I
just know
am.
the name Bots. So people, that's the face to go with the name.
I
All right, and go ahead, sir.
And I am Jamal Shea. A lot of people know me as Shea or China. So yeah, that's who I am.
China. Okay, folks, so the whole issue tonight is, the topic tonight is Junkanoo, all things Junkanoo. First of all, we'd like to send condolences out to the Golden Fire Shack and Billy Burrows on the passing of his wife, Michelle Burrows. We'd like to say condolences from the FIE Junkanoo Rush crew, along with the Junkanoo world. May her soul rest in peace.
Amen.
Okay, so let's get down to the grit. But let's start with you. Tell us about yourself, basically, and the company, SandDollar Company, and what it represents.
I've been around in Junkanoo now for I can remember myself. In fact, I don't know if I could ever remember a year that I wasn't involved in Junkanoo. So as a young child, growing up in Fritz Lane, my first memory of competitive Junkanoo actually was with the Saxons.
Oh, okay. Never
Yeah.
knew that.
Yeah, I grew up in Fritz Lane, in the heart of East Street. I remember my first year, we went to sleep that night, and roughly early that morning, we woke up to thunderous sounds of a hammer. And you know, growing up in those days, back in them days, nobody had no wall house. Our house was clapboard. And those nails being driven through the wood, you know, we thought somebody was breaking down the house. Only to find out, when we went outside, a shack was erected next onto our house overnight. And so you could imagine that. My mom didn't make any noise. She pretty much knew what the neighborhood was all about. And in the blink of an eye, went to school, came home. Nelson, I can remember Nelson. Everybody's called him Star. Star stood to the door and said, "Listen, time to come to the shack." So we went into the shack, and that was my first year. Invasion.
Of the Antrobates?
Yes.
Oh, Saxons. Yes,
My
yes,
first
yes,
year.
yes.
We pasted the cockroach. And I can remember me as a young boy on the bleachers. Because, you know, we was too young, I didn't rush. We pasted the costume. And I was on the bleachers and we shouting the Saxons. The Saxons.
But it's amazing, hey, how it was just two groups back then. I mean, either you was the Valley Boys or you were Saxon, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the music makers was there. But I don't remember basically any other groups.
No. In fact, that year, I think the Vikings were still around.
Oh, the Vikings,
And
okay.
I can remember them when they come around the bend. And we had those wooden bleachers. That music, listen, on them wooden bleachers, man, we was bouncing so high we almost could have touched the roof. Because that music, man, that music back in the day was just
Pure goatskin drum,
Just
not
special.
much brass,
Yeah.
just Junkanoo.
That's when Junkanoo was Junkanoo.
Was Junkanoo.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bats, tell us a little bit about the SandDollar Company. I know now, you know, I was a Junkanoo fanatic. It's been a little sip talk. You know, I've been here in the sip, you know, it's hit my ears first. My phone is just be blaying.
Yeah.
But you know me, I's undercover agent. You'll never know who I talking to because I don't never diverse my sources.
Yeah.
Now, I understand from earlier in the year, but I mean, SandDollar Company has been around now for approximately how long?
It's a new company.
It's a new company.
Let me just share with you.
Okay.
I not much know this story, but I'll share this story with you. My entire Junkanoo career, I've always been in leadership. You know, they say with great responsibility you know, I can't remember the line. Not a line though. Great responsibility comes what? With great work comes great responsibility. Or something
Yes,
some line along those lines.
Right.
I just had it on my mind when it flashed by, right? But here's the thing. I've always been one. I've never been a follower in Junkanoo. In fact, there's only ever been really one person that I followed in Junkanoo, and that's Peter Gold West.
Right.
And I followed him because when I connected with him, I was a lost boy. I used to be a troublesome boy. I was troubled. I was angry. I was lost. This man came to me as a young man. I didn't know my father, but he came to me and he asked me because he saw something in me. When I went into the shack, he said, "Listen, I see." At that time I was pacing big costume and building big costume with no skills whatsoever, no thought skills. And he came to me and he said, "Listen, what is it that you want to do in Junkanoo?"
I could hear him saying that.
Yeah. Do you want to pace or do you want to build? I had to choose one. He sat down with me and he and I had a long conversation. He made me understand that, listen, yeah, I was lost, but I had some things in me that needed to come out. He kind of adopted me as a young boy. I was a teenager. He adopted me, basically took me under his wing, became the father figure that I never had. Taught me every single thing that I know about Junkanoo today. And I hear people all say, "Oh, no, I was taught by the best in Junkanoo." In fact, I tell people, I have a PhD in Junkanoo. I'm probably one of the only persons in Junkanoo that was taught Junkanoo in a classroom.
And the classroom was the shack.
No.
And the classroom itself.
No, in an actual classroom.
Oh.
At the Old Man House, we have a workshop.
Okay.
I can remember the days when he and I was in the workshop and he was teaching me how to sculpt with cardboard.
Now that's
Just
interesting.
me and him.
Right.
He was teaching me to feel the material. How when I touch a piece of cardboard, it comes alive. He taught me to see in 3D.
Right.
Things that the average person, they don't know about it. And so for me, Junkanoo has always been about the arts. Not about the music, not about all the fanfare, not about all the glory, nothing except for the art. And so he taught me how to see beyond what the average individual sees.
Right.
And so as I grew, I got better. I got better. A few years back, I can always remember this conversation that he and I had. That was probably one of the hardest days I've ever had in a Junkanoo shack environment. We've just come off Bay Street and he told me, say, "Bats, I can't let my children die. I cannot let my children die." I said, "What you talking about?" You like talking parables.
Right.
But what he was telling me is that he now have to leave me and he need to go back to Roots Junkanoo Group to try to salvage whatever. Roots was in a slump at that time. And he felt as though it might have been in his best interest at that time to go back to see how he can help that group move on. He helped them, got them back to where they are, but where the respect factor came, where I even respect him even more, he never, ever once asked me to come back with him. In fact, his words to me were simple. "I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. And in fact, when I come back to you on Bay Street, I want to see if you learned what I taught you."
If you progressed.
Yes. And that was the first year I did Junkanoo solely on my own. Without my teacher there, without my mentor there, without my father there. And that year was one of the more difficult years that I've had. But I can tell you, that year I was able to achieve some things that I myself didn't even know I had in me because of the lessons that I learned from him. And through all of that, Marco and I, we were working together even before that. But even after that, Marco and I kind of got even closer. It's so amazing, right? Marco and I actually grew up in the same neighborhood and didn't know one another.
Wow.
I talked about right on the same back streets and didn't know one another. You know? But how SandDollar came around is maybe about 5-6 years ago. I was having some discussions. You know, I was deputy chairman at the time of the Valley Boys. And something came up. I had won with a piece called And the Winner Is. I did a costume called And the Winner Is with some fellas in the Valley Boys, Patrick and Ron Don to be specific. And I thought that was one of the better pieces that we've done. But here's what happened. Junkanoo was over. I went into a bookstore, I don't want to call its name, it's on Harbor Bay. And to my surprise, I walked in there to buy a book for my son. When I walked in, I saw a calendar. That on the face of that calendar was a picture of a costume that I produced.
What?
Right? So I inquired about it. In fact, I called my attorney about it. If you know me, everybody who know me, know the first number is dialed.
It's your attorney.
Anything after the if you fuck me, first person I call, my attorney. If you hit me, my attorney. So I walked into this store, and to my surprise, I saw a calendar with a costume that I produced. This calendar was being sold off the shelf. You know what I said? In fact, the lady told me that if I needed a copy, I needed to give her my number, and whenever they get one, they'll try to see if they can get me one. So I go on
with your costume.
With my costume.
Right.
So that sparked something in me. But beyond all of that, I engaged my group, which was the Valley Boys. I engaged my group about intellectual property rights. Who has the ownership? Who has the rights to my design, to my property, XYZ?
And I'm not cutting you off, but now that you say that Angelique Culture is watching, and one of the things I tease Angelique about, Angelique on every poster, in every end of the island.
Yeah.
And I keep asking, are you getting paid? You get anything for that? Angelique, you could respond to that, but go ahead, Bats.
Yeah, and so that started something in me. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a businessman.
Right.
I'm technical, but I'm not afraid to ask the questions that needs to be asked. I think I had approached my group, my leader at the time, Gus Cooper, God bless his soul, super leader. A lot of people don't understand Gus, but Gus was a real man. Right? And maybe you'll go into that at some point too.
Right.
Right? But I engaged my group to have some discussions to the JCMP, and I started to understand it a little bit more about ownership and who owns what and who does what and all these other things and things like that. And quite frankly, I didn't like it. So I fast forwarded maybe 4 years or so like that. 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. Something happened to me, Shami, in my Junkanoo group. My Junkanoo group, the Valley Boys. God bless his soul, Gus Cooper had passed on. But something happened to me, Shami. I've never told people this, but I'm going to tell you this. I've always been in a position where God has blessed me, with a little piece of education and ability to earn. Right? But we did a costume that year. I can't remember the actual name. But we won. We won best costume. I've never, ever, ever collected monies, asked anybody for money. Whatever you win, that's your money. The old man has always taught me, don't even engage in conversation when it comes to money and all those other things, because it kind of convolutes the situation and people start to think that they own you. Right? But let me tell you what happened to me. We had won that year, and I have a team, because people always, they only see me or they only hear my name, but it's people like Louis, you know, Frank, Andrew, Marco, China, they make up the core of a team that's around me, along with the old man. He still comes in now and again, right? But we won. And in winning, I think the prize had gone up. And let me tell you what happened. I was working, so I was fine. Frank worked for himself. Andrew was unemployed at the time. And Louis was unemployed at the time. So I made a pitch to the group. I said, man, listen, you take 20% off the top. Tell you what, that 20% that you take off the top of the winnings of these fellas' costume, give me that to give to these fellas as a thank you.
Right.
Just as a simple thank you. 20% of what? 8,000 or maybe 10,000? 20%. Now imagine 20% being separated between three fellas, right? But during this private meeting that I had with my group now, who I've done, I mean, endless.
Endless time, energy, hours, everything.
Endless. In fact, I can tell you a next story that I never tell nobody before. My whole
Well, everybody can know it
right?
now.
You know, when I broached this question to my group, I got a resounding no.
Okay, what was the question?
The question was can the group forego that simple 20% and write a check to the fellas who work with me on my team because we won that year? And by the way, we've been probably the most successful team in Junkanoo for the last 15 years. So you would have won in just about every year. Top one. In fact, top one. Top one, top two Boxing Day and New Year's. And so when you do all that calculation, not only that, at that point in time, I had started to do 95% of my own sculpting. I started to do 90% of my own welding. I started to do 80% of my own painting. And so I had lowered the cost of actually building a big costume. They'd set budgets in place, and so we had met those budgets. In fact, I think we'd even operated below those budgets. And here you have me now, after toiling in the shop all of this time. The prize money comes out, and I got these fellas in here now saying, man, boss, man, look at my, I need something. I got some bills outstanding, yada, yada, yada. I only could do so much because I got a family to support too. You know what I'm saying? I had asked my group, come on. And not only that, I think because it was a contentious time in my group, because I was kind of gearing up to run for chairman, I think all of that kind of spill over into it. We allowed the personalities to come in more so than looking out for the plight of people, more so. And so, you know, that didn't stop me from doing what I did. But what it made me realize is that the major Junkanoo groups don't care about people. They don't care about the people who are in the shacks. The only thing they care about is that you're able to give them a costume. And when you can't give them a costume, then you're nothing.
Sad.
You're nothing.
That's sad. And that is one of the reasons last year I came up with the Unsung Heroes episodes to really show the persons that are in the shack. And an unsung hero could be could be in Junkanoo 10 years, 15 years. Because a lot of persons, you know, bombarded the series last year and saying that a lot of the persons that I chose are not unsung. Who are you to decide who's an unsung? Right. Anybody in Junkanoo who have put their time and effort in to make this thing excel to another level, in my opinion, and have never been recognized. Because, you know, only certain ones are always put to the forefront of Junkanoo. And so for me to go in the shacks in alleys and dark way and stuff and interview these persons and hear their stories, you know, it was like a pride in me. And that's why in another couple of days we're going to start the Unsung Series 2018-19 again. But you know, it's serious.
You hear me talk about my team, right?
Right.
I can't tell you enough about my team. I can tell you something with each one of them. A lot of people don't know this, right? But I don't stay on Bay Street. I go to Bay Street. In fact,
hook up the costume and go.
I don't even hook up the costume much no more.
Oh boy.
Because we've developed such a good team that I go on Bay Street. When I always tell people that when my job in the shack is done, then Frank takes over.
Right.
That's his responsibility. to get the costume from here to the road and to organize the fellas on the road to get that costume set up. Louis, I can't tell you where I would be without Louis. Because many nights, me and Louis in here, and Louis pushing me. Louis said, my bots, mom, you gotta get this done, we gotta get this done. Andrew, same thing. I could tell you nights when Andrew and I slept in shacks. We got hours. You can't go home because the group don't have a second costume, and we trying to put together a costume with hours before the parade. You know who there? Me and Andrew. You understand what I'm saying? But let me just go further. Let me finish this story. So after that gut punch, it made me realize a couple of things. That you know what, Bats? In order for the people around you to be responsible or start to achieve some level of prosperity from this thing we call Junkanoo, you got to step out. You got to do some different things that nobody's never done. You got to say some different things. In fact, you got to become a different person. So I made an attempt to run for chairman of the Valley Boys. I wasn't successful, and that's a story in itself. You know? But
We didn't want to hear that one. That could be too long.
No, I know. But I stuck
Hey,
it
that's
out.
a joke.
I stuck it out because I made a commitment to Gus Cooper while he was ill. Made a commitment to him in Doctor's Hospital, and I made a commitment to him at the University of Miami when me and my wife was there at his bedside at the University of Miami. See, Gus is a different breed. They don't make him like that no more. But I can tell you, I made a commitment to him that I will do whatever I have to do to ensure that the Valley is successful. In fact, even today, I love the Valley with all my heart.
Angelique is saying, she got to come shake your hand, enough respect.
Yeah.
Because see, a lot of people, if you don't get a chance to tell your story, like you say, a lot of people know this famous Bats.
They don't know.
But they don't know you. They hear the name is synonymous in Junkanoo. But now that you're here, we can appreciate the name, what Bats is all about.
Yeah. And so, I told, in fact, I can remember this conversation with the Valley lawyer. I called and I asked him specifically about ownership and intellectual property rights. And he really couldn't answer me. In fact, the answer that he gave me, I didn't appreciate the answer that he gave me. So you know who I call next, right? Snake dial. I called my lawyer right away. And we started to have some real serious conversation about Junkanoo and the art and the form and so forth. And so a couple of years ago, Marco and I, we started to have some real discussions about moving away from competitive Junkanoo. Because as is, from my understanding, as long as I sat at the table of management, technically whatever I did would have been the property of the group, yada yada. I don't know if that was clear. But again, I made a decision at the beginning of this year that enough was enough. That no longer would I allow people around me to suffer, or people around me to not get their just due. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No longer would I allow that. I may be the engine, but these fellas are the frame that surrounds me and protects me from the weather. I'm only the engine that drives the car. Somebody else is at the wheel, somebody else is the next four wheels, and I got people I need to consider and I need to think about. And so because of that, early this year, I went to a Valley Boys management meeting, and I informed them that as of that specific meeting, that, well, first of all, in fact, let me apologize for Marco not being here. He had an emergency that he needed to tend to, but it was some hard realities that both Marco and we had to come to some conclusions on, and it was a long, drawn-out conversation because, as you know, we played a big role in what the Valley Boys did, and we carried a large role. We had a very, very large contingent, and we had to make some decisions. You know, either continue to be that or move away and not be a slave to anybody's dogma. And that's really the reality of it. when I informed the Valley of my intentions, I informed my chairman privately, and he said, boy, I understand. Because if I had the talent that you had, I might have done what you're doing too. You know? And you know, Gus always to say, you know, Junkanoo don't change. Junkanoo don't change. You have different people in Junkanoo. You got people who talk Junkanoo, and you got people who do Junkanoo.
Well, I think we get too much talkers.
Well, not around here. This is a doing shop.
Well, that's a good thing.
Studio.
This is a doing studio. And so at the beginning of this year, I went into a meeting with my chairman. I informed him first of all about the intentions that myself and Marco had intended to form a private company. We still wanted to be affiliated with the Valley. In fact, our services was offered to the Valley free of charge. It was offered to them free of charge with no costs associated to them at all. Because obviously we're Valley boys. We're Valley boys. We can't, there's no way I would put my group that I love in a predicament that they're celebrating 60 years and I couldn't put them in that predicament. We still offered to do the 2 lead costumes, the myriad of step down costumes, the myriad of off the shoulder costumes. The only thing we told the Valley boys is that we cannot be exclusive anymore to the Valley boys. Get that? We cannot be exclusive to the Valley boys. The property that you're in, it's a privately owned property. The electricity that you see here is privately paid. This building is privately funded. There's no funding out of this building by the Valley boys. None whatsoever. And so that's been a push of mine and Marco for years to try to become as self-sufficient as we possibly can become. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Valley boys may not have provided some material, may have not provided some food, may have not provided a little push here, a little stipend here to buy some staple cartridges or whatever the case may be. But predominantly what you see out here, it's all privately owned. And so when I made the trust to the Valley boys and I informed them of what I was going to do, I had a weird feeling about that meeting. Because, I always tell people, I'm this type of person, Charmaine. For people who don't know me, and for people who know me, I'm a straight up fella. I have no fear when it comes to talking to people. I can say what I need to say to you, to your face, and after that, I want name over, and we go on to the next subject. But what I find more often than not is that people in Junkanoo are so tribal.
Do you think the tribalism is killing?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. 100%. Because let me tell you what happened. At my meeting with the Valley boys, now bear this in mind now. When I told the Valley boys that I would still do what I need to do for them 100% for free.
For free?
For free. Some people saw it as an opportunity. Well, some people may have twisted that story somehow, some way, because it's come back to me all sorts of different ways. Now, I've not addressed it, and I'm not going to say too much on it. But I only implore people to come and find out the truth.
And see, well, this is the main reason why I am here.
Yeah.
Because it's the beginning, in my book, October, the end part of October, for me, is officially the beginning of the Junkanoo season, and this sip was happening from early in the year. I was just simmering.
And
but it's the perfect timing, eh?
Anybody who know me know that I don't gossip when it comes to Junkanoo.
Well, see, I don't either, and that's why I said, I noticed, not cutting you off, but, I saw Molly put up some stuff, and I wanted to say something to the fact that we were going to be live tonight, but I said I'll wait till tonight to really put it out there to confirm that we would be here and live in living colors to get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
And it's coming directly in true and living colors from the horse's mouth.
And so I've heard so many different stories about the Valley boys. I've not been contacted by the Valley boys since that meeting. In fact, I've been contacted once by the Valley boys. In fact, they call about the tent that I told them to come for from last year. And in fact, it's remind me, I'm going to call Patrick to have Patrick come and pick up his tent. But the thing is that I've given my entire adult life to the Valley Boys.
And it's
You know
your
what I'm
time now.
And what amazes me more than anything else is that as simple as me saying that I'm not going to do anything beyond what I promised to do for you, it's a problem. Because I don't conform to what you deem this thing, whatever you call that.
And that's the tribalism.
It's a problem. And so I've heard so many different stories. I kind of just lay low. The latest one kind of got me speed dial lawyer. You know? And so, you know,
Boy, you used to have a big bill with your lawyer.
Listen, I just been fortunate. And like I say, I mean, for me, I think the tribalism is killing us. I love my people in the valley. In fact, I want to send a special shout out to Eddie Ford. He's doing well.
Okay,
love
great.
him to death. I want to send a special shout out to Doyle Burrows. Love him to death. I mean, you talking to people who's been a major part of who I am today. You know? And so I love these fellas to death, man. You know, and anytime I got a lean or something negative coming out of the valley, first person I call is Doyle Burrows. It's the first person I call. I don't even think about it. And he's always giving me wise counsel to know. Say, man, Batsman, listen, man. You know, these fellas, they just don't even think about that. They don't even think about that. You know, and some people just figure that they don't need to speak with me. I'm the same Bats that did it for you all them years. I'm still the same person. I'm just operating a little different. And so let me get back on track. When I told the Valley Boys that I would not be exclusive to them anymore, it's almost like I committed a sin.
War.
It's almost like I committed a sin. Now, I'm a member of the management team, but I wasn't informed of a management meeting. And subsequently after that, I was told by my chairman that you know, the fellas can't accept the proposal that I give them. The management of the group has chosen not to engage my services, my free services now, what I've always been giving you. The management of the group has decided not to engage my free services. Tell me if that makes any kind of sense now. I was always giving you free services. Now the only thing I tell you is that, you know what, since this is a privately owned property, I'll do your costumes, complete them, send them out. But I'm going to use my space to create an environment where people in my immediate circle can now start to benefit from this thing that we call Junkanoo. You see, I think what the problem is, we've not been able to create a Junkanoo industry.
Create revenue.
Revenue. Anybody who knows me, my whole entire life, I've been working in a corporate environment, in the office. And listen, one day I want to wake up, I tell my wife, honey, I going to work. And my work is my studio. That's a dream for me, Charmaine. And so, creating SandDollar is the start of that dream. Bringing that dream to reality. You know, and I don't, you know, I'm an honest fella. I'm a simple guy. I like simple things. And I like to be honest and straight up. Straight to the point. You know? And you know, SandDollar was birthed at the beginning of this year, but really it was birthed years ago when I realized that the major Junkanoo groups aren't interested or really don't care about their memberships. And it's a shame.
It's a sad.
It's really
sad.
sad. And you go through all of the major Junkanoo groups, and you feel the pulse of the people. We got people within our organizations that don't work, but the group don't assist them. I mean, most groups, they have like this, the smaller, what they call the social and welfare committee, but that's never, that don't really tap and reach everybody. You know, Junkanoo has become somewhat of a carnival. Everybody got a drink, got to go have a party, got to go. No, man, Junkanoo should be about the upliftment of the people who participate. And if you can't uplift the people who participate in your group, my friend, something wrong. Something wrong. And all these minds and things that we got in these Junkanoo groups, you mean to tell me nobody's never thought about creating an avenue within your group so that people now can start to create revenue and generate revenue? So I just said, and myself and Marco, we said enough is enough. And we're going to step out, we're going to be bold, and we're going to offer our services from the Junkanoo realm. But let me just say this emphatically. SandDollar is not a Junkanoo company. It's an art company. In fact, one of our first projects that we did an international trophy. It was won by Mexico. Mm-hmm. And if you go to our site, you'll see where the Mexican national team, they're kind of shaking it. And that client came to us with a vision that they wanted something uniquely Bahamian, and they thought that SandDollar would be the best firm to engage to produce this. We did numerous trophies, backdrops, ornaments, grills, metal sculpting, rails. It's an art company. The only thing we decided to do was treat Junkanoo as an art form. And in doing so, it fell in the category that now, if you want our services from that end, you have to go through the business channel. Jamal is here with me. We're completely structured. Jamal is our public relation officer. Anybody that want to speak about the brand of SandDollar has to have a conversation with him. We have a legal team. We have a business team. We have a finance team. And so we're well-rounded. And we have a technical team. All right? But it's not, what I wanted to make absolutely clear to the audience out there today, SandDollar is not a Junkanoo company. It's an art company.
Okay.
We're artisans, and we want to take full advantage of our God-given talent to try to create an environment where we can make revenue, possibly for the rest of our lives.
Jamal, give us a little bit of information if persons are interested in contracting SandDollar Company in the upcoming Junkanoo parades. Right. Now, I know the big pieces, the contract had to be done a while back, eh?
Well, they could reach me at 825-4787. I'm always posting stuff on the Junkanoo sites, as you know. We will be launching our official logo and our official page in a very short couple of weeks. SandDollar, like Bad said, a lot of people mistake that SandDollar is a Junkanoo, just Junkanoo group, I mean not group, but company that just do Junkanoo costumes. And so I'm glad that he mentioned that. And so just reach out. We do everything art. Everything art. One of the things that we try to do with SandDollar is take Bats and Marco away from the day-to-day operations of SandDollar. Obviously, they are the technical persons, so we lean on them for the technical side, but the business side is run by a group of persons and directors. And so we look forward to hearing from you. And to be honest, I mean, a lot of persons are knocking on the door. We have a cutoff time. Obviously, like you stated, we can't take too much of a big costumes anymore because we have already extended our services thus far to that. But we're here, we're available for anybody, no matter what group. We offer services from, if you just have the idea, we put the idea on the paper, from paper to cardboard, from cardboard to rod to reality. One of the things we say in SandDollar, we creating memories and we do a personal touch for our customers. And as Bats would have noted, I mean, it stated, this here is our studio. We don't call this a shop because we're not in a shop. We're in a studio. We're creating memories, and we ship our costumes out to our customers, our clients, and everything is obviously it's private. We don't allow persons to come in here, hang out in here because it's a business. And you know how Junkanoo is, it's tribal, and so we want our customers to feel comfortable with us, that we're going to give them the best product. And so no matter what group you're affiliated with or what group we would have been affiliated with, we don't believe in that, because our brand is very important and we want to make sure that we continue to be above ground and be the best brand possible.
Well, there you have it, folks. In a nutshell, give us that number again, Jamal.
825-4787, or you can hit me out on Facebook, Jamal Shea. That's it.
Okay, does the SandDollar has a Facebook page, is it, or you just...
Well, at this present moment, we're still using our Valley of the Kings Facebook page.
Okay.
But like I stated, we'll be launching our SandDollar Facebook page in a matter of weeks.
Okay, so folks, there you had it. I've had a history talk tonight with these two gentlemen. Bats, we have a lot of persons commenting on some of the information that you shared here tonight, and it was absolutely exquisite. It's so much things that I have learned, and I expect great things from the SandDollar company. Gents, is there any last words you would want to add before we sign off, Bats?
Before Bats close out, I just want to personally send my condolences to Billy Burrows and the Golden Fire family. Bats talk a lot about his team, and Golden Fire is our family. You know, we look beyond what shack you were part of or what group you were part of. They are our family. They accepted us into their home, and we love them, and we praying for them, and we will be there to support them. So condolences on behalf of SandDollar, my wife, my family, and the entire SandDollar company.
I just want people to, tonight is one of the first times I've ever spoken about, publicly about anything as it relates to what transpired. And I can tell you some stories. It'll make your stomach squeeze. You know? I just want to see Junkanooers rightfully credited for their work. I want to see Junkanooers rightfully recognized for their work. I want to see Junkanooers rightfully being remunerated for their work. You know, while it's okay to run around and say Bali, Saxon, and all the rest of them things, and you go, there's no benefit in that for this Junkanooers. After we've come off Bay Street and we go into our communities, then what? We gotta get back to our lives, man. You know many people struggling right now who, rather than go on a job, they in a Junkanoo shack? Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I just want to see the major Junkanoo groups stop perpetrating this farce. That as long as you in one shack and you could do a little piece of thing, you're gonna be okay. They don't care about you. They're not gonna take care of you. They're not gonna ensure that you get one decent medical insurance. They're not gonna ensure that, you know what, you got one little $2 to pay for your children lunch. When the lights go out or you can't pay your rent, they don't care about that.
Just give me the bait.
Yeah. I think Aline wrote a book some time back.
I come to get me.
I come to get me. The groups aren't any difference. They're no different. You know, I tell people, when I open up the doors of this studio this year, I'm going to be honest with you. This year was the first year I could remember myself actually attending a family function with my wife and my children. And in fact, some of the stories that I could tell you, Charmaine, as it relates to how Junkanoo would affected my family, you would not believe. It's opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes. And I'm here to talk to anybody who wants to hear, who wants to listen to my story, because I got a real story. A real story. Wake up, people. Wake up. We love it, but don't let it kill you. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. FIE's Junkanoo Rush, all the way in the back of nowhere, Glasson Road, at the SandDollar Studio.
Yes.
SandDollar Studio. Like we said, FIE, feel it in your belly.